Professor Gadget is in the studio. We're going to learn about our gadgets, and he has brought his assistant today. Who's Inspector Gadget's assistant? He's got a dog, right? You have brought a handsome man.
I think Brain was the dog, right?
Oh, Brain, right. I think so. So you're Brain. Jim George is here. This is one of the most fun segments we have on the air. Anthony Tartaglia is Jim's guest today. He's a network engineer. What network? NBC?
Computer networks.
Oh, computer networks. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. And kind of it's open season, I guess, for asking technical questions, especially with the network engineer in the room. The number is 622-9622. We invite you to be part of the show by calling 622-9622. You don't have to have a question. You might just want to call and wish Jim or Anthony happy birthday. I don't know how close we are, but
no, we're not close.
We're 1 out of 365. 1 out of 365. We got to be sort of close.
Well, I heard you talking about the driverless car.
Yes.
And how that people are getting seasick.
Yes.
There's an answer for that.
What is it?
All right. Did you teach your son how to drive?
I think I did.
Or did he take a course?
Did I?
Okay. Did you ever sit in the passenger seat or in the back seat when he was driving, and it seems like it's rocking left and right, and it's stopping and starting. In other words, it's surging. So what happens is when you're first learning how to drive, they tell you don't look in front of you, look way out in front of you. In other words, you don't look 50 feet or 100 feet in front of you. Look 300 to 500.
Okay.
And then that way your brain controls the steering wheel, differently than if you look. So the computer is sensing, and it's making minor adjustments all the time. And the car is rocking left and right. That's the first thing. The second thing, you ever driven with a person who drives with his left foot on the brake and his right foot on the gas?
No, I've been behind that guy, though.
Yeah. Right. Well, that car, you will definitely get sick. So when I drive like long distances in North Carolina, one of my guys will take over and maybe drive a couple hours while I rest. It's impossible to rest because the car is constantly doing a little surging action. So
is that his driving?
They've got to work out the bugs in the computers to make sure that it doesn't surge, and it doesn't rock left and right.
It is an interesting story. I mean, so far we've had a couple of stories, a little pings, a little dents, and there was even one reporter who got hit. Did you see this like 2 days ago?
I heard you talking about it.
It wasn't a big. I mean, the guy didn't get hurt, but the car. He was standing in front of it doing the story, and it tapped him. Enough to make him fall onto the hood.
So if you were driving your car, they could sue you. If you had a neighbor driving your car, but who do you sue if your car is driving your car?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the car owner, huh?
Well, you would think so.
The car manufacturer.
The car manufacturer, yeah.
I don't know.
Involved in an auto accident. It was the car spot. And how about road rage between two computer-driven cars?
I like to see that.
But see, I thought the story about people becoming nauseous was interesting because I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
But you explained it a little bit. So
try it sometime. It'll drive you crazy. Now, you can't do it to yourself. If you try to weave left and right, because your brain's...
You know it, yeah.
You know it. But if you sit next to someone and you do that, like if you're driving down the road and let's say Robin's next to you, you're going to Orlando, maybe for the Gaylord place where the ice carvings take, and you start doing that, man, you're going to find, she'll get sick.
You just did what authors do. They throw in extra information that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Just to make it more colorful.
It makes it more interesting.
Yeah. So, Anthony, tell us about yourself. When you do network engineering, see, I don't even know. Like at my house, do I consider it a network if I just have, let's see, my computer and Doug's computer is hooked up to mine, well, by Wi-Fi, and my Kindle. So I have those three things. Is that actually a network?
Yeah, that's a computer network. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And in fact, my printer is on there too somehow. I don't know how that works, but it's all Wi-Fi.
Yep. It's all Wi-Fi. You're using a wireless router, and that wireless router is acting like the gateway for your network. It's issuing DHCP leases for your devices, which gives them an IP address, and essentially an IP address is the post office box number for each device, so it knows how to route information across the network.
Wow. Do you know? Last night I called the people I get my internet from, which is Cox. because my Wi-Fi goes off all the time. It's crazy. It's so frustrating. So I called them up, and he actually was doing something from his end, and I could see the lights going off and on my little device there. So I don't know if it fixed it or not. We'll find out today, I guess.
Yeah, yep.
It's amazing how you can work. And I don't even think he was in Florida. Because he said the first question, what state are you in? So I don't know if he was here or not, but
Right.
I guess it doesn't matter where you are. Do you do that? Do you actually, both of you, do you work?
In the system that we have at Ocala Palms, we can do that. We can see the modem remotely and then make adjustments remotely.
Really?
Yes, yeah. Well, I went to Cali, Colombia for a convention, and while I was down there, I was in a hotel, and the internet wouldn't work. And I did everything according to the plans, and it wouldn't work. He said, call this toll-free number. So I did. And here I am in Colombia speaking to a guy in India, and he looked at the thing and said, okay, type this in, type that in. What do you tell me what you see? Okay, fine, it's working now.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, so the world's become a small oyster, you might say, in the sense that the gadgetry we have today talks to each other.
Better than a mountain oyster.
Just like the IRS having people talk to it.
Yeah.
Is it easier to crack into someone's system if you have a Wi-Fi printer?
Well, Wi-Fi has its susceptibility to cracking, so to speak. There are various methods by which people can try to intercept packets that may be flying through the air.
Oh.
And use those packets to spoof a MAC address, for example. Essentially, they pretend to be a computer that's supposed to be on that network, and that's how they gain access to the network. But there are encryption parameters in place. There's WPA, there's WPA2.
And what is that?
Those are wireless protection algorithms that are methods of encryption so that the data that's being sent is scrambled. So even if you were to pick that packet up out of the air using a packet analyzer, you wouldn't be able to decipher it because it's encrypted with a 256-bit encryption.
Oh,
Wow.
So I don't know if the word network applies here, but I'm just curious. When we use the word network for like NBC and ABC, for example, is YouTube actually a network? Nobody calls it the YouTube network, but is it actually a network?
I wouldn't say so because they don't broadcast. I would say most networks that fall under that category of being a broadcast network, where YouTube is, they're an HTTP streaming media service, but you have to request those streams. Where they're not absolutely broadcast out 24/7, where you just pick a channel per se. You actually have to go and request those streams by clicking on a link.
So do you have clients that have computer networks that go beyond the building? Like maybe we could have a network with ourselves and Jim's office?
Absolutely. Well, the internet is a big network of computers. So if you think of it that way, we're all on a network. Every computer is on a network at some point if it's connected to another computer. So when you have, let's say, your private computer network at your home, that's your what we call local area network, or LAN. When you get outside of your home and you have multiple LANs all connected, then that network of LANs is a WAN, or wide area network. But for a business or an enterprise grade network, you can have what's called a metropolitan area network, which is, let's say I have a remote office in Cleveland and I have a remote office in Germany, and I want to link those two together. Well, I can set up a metropolitan area network, and then the traffic that I pass between those two regional offices is encrypted and tunnels through the internet, just like with the encryption with the Wi-Fi we were talking about before.
Wow.
All of that information is encrypted, and so even though it's passing over publicly owned spaces like the internet, anyone who were to intercept those packets wouldn't be able to do anything with it because of the encryption.
Wow. So what's amazing that you've seen, how you've seen this technology being used? Like I would think it was amazing. You guys probably see this all the time, but like Joe is in the Carolinas right now, right? Like let's say he wanted me to have this report and he could actually print it on this computer. On this printer from his phone, let's say.
Yes.
That's kind of cool, I think. But what have you, so that's my level of cool. What's yours? Yours must be, what have you seen?
Well,
people are using this for, or how they're using it.
Well, one of the things is our IPTV system.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. we're broadcasting hundreds of channels through the internet, just as he said, all secure, all encrypted. And with the small box, you receive it and it streams to your TV. It's like never happened before with everything from a la carte, choose one channel or choose 100, or create your own channel. Like Doug wants to create his own, what's it called, bass ass or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, he does.
I think something like that.
He's in the planning stages.
That's funny. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. If you have any questions about any of this, don't stop. Don't hesitate. We want you to call. Jim George is here from American Cable Services, and Anthony Tartaglia is here. He's a network engineer for...
Well, I kind of work with...
Are you
Jim.
freelance?
Yeah, freelance, but I work with Jim on various projects.
Okay, so you're also with American Cable Services. So we'll be right back.
Thanks.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Today, sunshine mixing with some clouds and turning breezy this afternoon with a shower or thunderstorm in spots. Our high 84 to 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, a shower or thunderstorm around, low 66 to 73. Clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm, high 85 to 89. Sunday, sunshine mixing with some clouds with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, high 85 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
So you need a credit card, but how do you choose? Let's compare the big banks to Florida Credit Union. They have rewards, and we do too. They have customer service. Hello, 24/7. They have celebrities. Hey, Danny. But with Florida Credit Union, there's no annual fee, no liability for fraudulent charges, and no 22% interest rates. Choose Florida Credit Union, and you'll not only have a great credit card, but you'll have the support and personal touch that the big banks, well, can't touch. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Black Cow composted cow manure is a terrific organic soil amendment. We start with cow manure from dairy farms and then compost it a full 90 days. The result is an all-natural, dark, rich soil amendment that's great for everything you grow. Flowers, vegetables, shrubs, trees, and lawns too. Look for Black Cow in the bright yellow and black bag at your favorite nursery or garden center.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
Who doesn't love heading out on the boat with a family, hitting the ATV trails with friends, or blazing new stretches of highway with riding buddies? Your toys are your ticket to outdoor fun. At the McDonald Allstate Agency, we get to know you and help make sure you have all the right coverages. Plus, when you bundle your coverage for your car and your home with your boat, motorcycle, RV, or more, you can save up to 30%. So call the McDonald Allstate Agency today at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations at Calla Hills or the Jasmine Square Plaza.
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
WWWWOCA, WWWWOCA.
If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
All right, 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. Jim George is here talking over my head. I have no idea what you just said, Jim. Anthony Tartaglia is here as well, and we are talking technology. Your phone calls are a part of this show, so call us 622-9622. So I joked, but I'm telling you the truth. A lot of it is over my head. But is it like to me, should I just look at it like a car? I don't really understand. I mean, I know, I guess, basically how a car works, but I'm no mechanic. I just get in it and drive it.
Right.
So if you were to set up something for me, like we all use our internet for whatever, we don't really need to know how it works. I mean, you guys need to know because you're the repair guys. That guy on the phone last night at Cox Cable, he needed to know whatever he was doing. I don't know what he did.
Right. Well, you might have a flip phone, an inexpensive flip phone, and you use it for calls. I may have a little larger phone, and I may use it for texting and calls. And Anthony may have the same size or the same model flip phone, but he does internet with it. He looks at, I mean, he may use that same phone for 100 features that I would only use 2 of, and you might only use 1 of. The technology is, you have to learn the technology. I don't want to do it because I don't know how to do it, and I don't want to put any more thoughts in my head than I already have.
Does it worry you that we're too dependent on this? Because there was a story the other day, the United States has this warhead, and what it does is it disrupts all the electronics in a certain area. Okay. Now, if we have it, then somebody else probably either has it or is working on it.
Yeah.
Which is why we play acoustic instruments.
It's basically EMI, and what it does, it sends a burst of energy, and it will take out anything within, and of course the miles could be 5 miles to 50 miles. So it surges on the power line.
Takes them out permanently?
Take them out permanently. Some cases you might be able to reboot some things, other cases you won't be able to reboot.
Well, I'm not buying another Kindle. If my Kindle dies, I don't think I need it.
Why's that?
Because he can get it on his computer.
I mean, it's like a habit, It's like you could pick up a book. You don't have to pick up an electronic book.
True.
Yeah.
All right. So and Wi-Fi is big, and Anthony's very big in Wi-Fi. So we're doing, RV parks that want to make sure when you pull in at night, you can use your computers wirelessly. You could make sure that your cell phone doesn't work on the cell phone network, but it's working on the Wi-Fi network, so you don't use your minutes up. You're on the network. There's all kind of things, and Anthony can explain it more than me.
Do you know what I don't understand? And I know you have something to explain, but all right, I got a GPS.
Yeah.
It does not need cell towers. It just gets something from the satellite. How come our phones don't do it that way?
Oh, there's some phones that do. They're GPS phones. They're more expensive, but and generally the quality of the reception isn't as good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, satellite phones. Like if you're on Mount Everest, you have a satellite phone.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Talk to the satellite, and it talks to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So my GPS tells me to turn left, turn right. I'm liking it.
So when we get your cable system, can we also hook up our phones to your cable system so that when we're watching TV and we get a call, we can just click a button and then be able to speak to someone?
You will eventually. The first, and we're supposed to get the boxes today, and I'm hoping maybe by the latest Monday. But the first edition will be a basic TV box. Now, when I say basic, it may have 50 functions on it. It may have 40 applications on it, different applications you can use. But it will be our basic box. Once we start to roll out, then not only will there be a spot for recording locally as compared to recording in the cloud, but there'll be a spot to put a device into it that will be your phone.
Do you want a talk show on your TV?
Nice.
Do you want a TV? Do you want us to? We'd like to do a TV. What do you call it? Talk show for you?
Yeah, you can do an infomercial show.
I don't do an infomercial.
Well, infomercial doesn't have to be where you sell something.
Oh,
It's a talk show. Okay, fine.
it's a talk show.
Yeah.
So when you get those boxes today, do you already have the homes laid out who are going to get these boxes to be your test market?
No, we ordered, I think it was 12, and I think we're getting 3 to 5 in. What happens is when you order a small number, the manufacturer, who's maybe making $1 million a day for somebody else, let's say in China, has to stop that assembly line and pull 12 off for us, which is a real burden for him. Then he's got to send those 12 to us. When we did, I think one came broken. 2 would not accept wireless. One because it didn't go through QC. He just pulled 12 off the line.
Okay.
When we start ordering, those boxes will have all the features, QC'd, everything on them.
Oh, nice.
But not at this junction. So there'll be no one getting these boxes right now. We'll be demoing. And like I was saying earlier, we will bring one in here. We'll put a large screen up here, and you can change the channel and watch Russia, China, all the world, including American channels. And then depending upon that will be our beta box. And then after a while, we'll have our launch. And after a while means like August.
What does that always mean when people say beta? Does that mean it's not the whole thing? It's a
test. There's an alpha, and then there's a beta, and then you launch.
Oh, so alpha is the test? Is the first test?
Yeah, alpha is the first.
So it never goes to, what's the third letter in the Greek alphabet?
Is it gamma?
Gamma? So it never gets to the gamma?
Yeah, no. Alpha is an internal test only. It's not exposed to the public. Beta testing is exposed to the public in a small quantity, so that the public can.
I got
provide
arrested
feedback.
once for beta testing.
What happened?
Were you the master at that? Is that why?
That's right.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you shouldn't do that outdoors.
One hand Luke, yeah. One eye Jack.
Anthony's surprised.
Oh boy. Are we off the air?
The source. No. As long as you say the source after
No, but we
stuff
will
like
be.
that, you're good. Joe's okay with it.
And so I guess the whole network thing is, in my mind, I see how it works here because we use obviously the different networks. If I want whatever this computer is recording, I can now access it later on in one of the other computers, right?
But think of the multiple functions you do even on that one screen. You can split that screen and have two things going at the same time. You could have two screens simultaneously off the same computer. You could be looking at multiple sites. You could be writing an email to someone while you're watching. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, but then I would be distracted.
All those things are part of the network.
So are people using it for sales? I'm guessing selling is probably what drives the whole thing, right? Obviously, commerce is probably a big part of this.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, we're connected through computers now. I mean, it's a fundamental part of life in at least in our society, being connected and somehow electronically to something else via the internet or just within our own home, like you said. If you didn't have internet service and you just wanted a home network and you wanted to link different computers together, maybe you wanted to have a media server at your house so that you could watch your private movie library, on your television. You can do that, and you don't necessarily need to have the internet to do that. The internet is just a method of interconnecting your computers at home to other computers not at your home. Yeah.
Wow. So is the internet something that will eventually be changed to something else? Do you think these new laws, just to be political a little bit, do you think they're going to change it in a way that's good or bad, or?
I think the new laws are going to make the internet a lot easier for us to access freely without having to pay a lot of overhead charges and things like that for various services. What was the net free? What was the law that just came out?
Net neutrality.
Net neutrality. Yeah, that was an important aspect of using the internet, and that actually is going to benefit consumers. What
I find interesting about your saying that, and Jim has said the same thing, is that when you listen to people who don't know what you guys know, they were opposed to it. I think simply because there's a reluctance to want anything that the government wants. Glenn Beck, for example, was absolutely opposed to net neutrality, and I tried to understand why. But then I asked Jim about it, and he was absolutely for it. It sounds like you are too. So I think the guys who know this technology stuff are the ones who really should be helping the rest of us understand whether we should tell our legislators whether we want it or not. So.
But we're so used to having the government tell us what not to do, and here they reversed it 180 degrees and said, it's open, you can do whatever you want to do. It kind of threw a lot of people off. I mean, even the National Cable Television Association was against it. There were a lot of people against it because it's the government telling us what to do, even though it might be a great thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, gosh, we're at the end already. Anthony, nice to get to know you.
Oh, thanks very much.
Thank you for coming in. As we have been visiting with Jim now for so long, everybody has always been looking forward to some of the things he's been talking about, like, for example, the a la carte.
Yes.
So that's going to be a big one. I think that's going to open the doors for you guys.
It is.
But I like the idea of doing a show for you. We want to do that, too.
All right, sounds great.
How many viewers would we have? 20? 30?
We have a ramp up. We start with 20 in Ocala, the city of Ocala, 500 in the city of Gainesville, and 500 in Ocala Palms. And then it jumps exponentially after that. So in 1 year, it could be 25 to 50,000.
Wow, nice.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. We're learning that our economy actually shrank in the first quarter at 0.7% rate, in part because of the harsh winter and a larger trade gap than expected.